Hi, I'm Megan, Coordinator of Illawarra Youth Landcare. The volunteers are going to show you a range of techniques in dealing with vines and scramblers. This will include the scrape and paint technique, crowning and hand removal with a focus on removing tubers from the soil.
So we're going to be looking at ways to eradicate the Madeira vine. I've identified the vine through its heart-shaped leaves, which you can see here, and the aerial tubers, which are over here. The tubers can grow quite large and can weigh down entire canopies, so that's why we need to eradicate them as soon as we can. So I've located the base of the vine. We're going to use the scrape and paint technique, which will hopefully kill the vine and the tubers growing beneath it. Sometimes the aerial tubers can still survive, so we might need to do some follow-up at the site.
To apply the herbicide to the cut, I'm going to be using a bottle of registered herbicide after consulting a material safety data sheet.
So this is a juvenile Madeira vine plant. I'm now going to demonstrate the hand removal technique. So we just want to find the base of the plant, and each of these plants has a tuber attached to it. So we just have to carefully remove the mulch from around the base, and I'm using a trowel. That's my preferred tool. So just slowly remove the soil and follow where the vine's going. And just be careful not to break it, because if the tuber stays in the ground, it's just going to reshoot. So this is the Madeira vine seedling. You've got the stem going down to the tuber and then some roots.
Now, it is important that we bag and remove the entire plant from the site, because if left on site, this plant will spread vegetatively, meaning that each part of the plant will produce a new plant.
Now we're going to demonstrate how to remove turkey rhubarb. You can identify turkey rhubarb by its spear-shaped leaves, but it has a lot of native lookalike, so you just have to make sure you've got the right one. It has a red tinge on the stem as well, and when it's in seed there are masses of papery seeds which can be dispersed by wind, and they can spread really far. It also invades coastal ecosystems, so we've got to be careful to manage it. So this one you remove by hand digging, and you just have to make sure that you get all of the tubers that are attached to the stem. Sometimes they go quite far down into the soil, so you have to dig them out and try not to disturb the soil too much, and replace the mulch when you're finished. We're now going to remove the turkey rhubarb by hand digging. I'm using a trowel because it has no sharp edges, because it's easy to break the stem. So you just find the base of the plant and clear the mulch from around the area, and carefully trace down so you can find the tubers and the roots. You can lever the soil up sometimes to make it come out. So you can see the tuber on the stem, and that's the part that's going to regrow. So you just need to bag that.
I've identified here a moth weed. It's often mistaken for the native Marsdinia, but we can tell it's a moth weed because of the pale greyish underside, and also it has a distinctive twisted tip of the leaf. When we rip the leaf in half, it exudes a milky sap, and that can be a bit toxic for the eye, so you just got to be a little bit mindful of that when you're dealing with this weed. I'm going to hand pull this weed, so what I want to do is just get my hand as close as I can to the ground and gently rock it out so that I make sure I get all of the roots out. When I'm done, just return that leaf litter to where it was.
You may have noticed that our volunteers have left parts of the plants that didn't need to be bagged on site. This produces mulch and nutrients back into the soil, and it also serves a purpose as to not stockpile the weeds. This can produce an undesirable condition for volunteers to do any follow-up work. It makes it really difficult for these weeds to be removed. Things such as Cape ivy, even lantana and trad can easily infest a pile of weeds and make it really difficult for volunteers to do any follow-up work.